No, it's funny. I totally forgot that you were gay.
Really? Really?
Completely slipped my mind.
Well, thanks.
Don't worry, you're not.
I've never in my life someone ever met someone. I was like, oh, and I forgot you're gay. But to admit it.
What you were saying?
You were
Garrett?
talking about your boyfriend. I was just like, oh shit, that's right.
All right. Hey, welcome back to the. I almost say drinking. Hey, welcome back to the HeadKanon podcast, everybody. You can find a new episode every Tuesday at a.m. something
6
o'clock.
a.m.
6 a.m. 6 a.m. 6 a.m. o'clock, or you can find us on anytime where you get your audio listening only podcasts like Apple or Spotify or Pandora or
forget we own
any
Pandora.
long list of those things too.
I love letting him
Just let me go.
just go into the intro. No, just raw dog. Into the
I
intro.
completely just like I don't even know where my brain is at when I'm like, look, I'm like a midway conversation, then turn into, hey, welcome back to the HeadKanon podcast, everybody.
I kind of want to do like Sacred Symbols does their shit first, then it
Yeah.
jump to the podcast.
Yeah,
Right.
They say all their
Bullshit. Yeah.
the bullshit first. Yeah.
It'd be like a separate clip.
Oh,
Add
okay.
on top of it.
I might record that then. I might
Yeah,
do that
we
then.
should
That would be so much
Just to
easier
plug
for
it in
us.
there,
They
yeah.
just throw it in there instead of.
Yeah.
So we usually just jump right in and it takes like sometimes it takes like 30 minutes.
Yeah, last episode we talked for 25 minutes
Yeah, like,
before we said like, oh shit, we're talking.
Yeah, no one knows who we are, so you gotta.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
if you guys want to follow us, all the links down below, check all those out. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Crockett. This is Bryan.
Yo.
This is Tay.
Yeah.
And we have a special guest today. Everyone give a round of applause for Garrett. Woo!
Garrett Bayer.
You would remember that.
Garrett is one of our close old friends from school, and we're very excited to have him on the podcast today. And the reason we brought Garrett onto the podcast today, I am stumbling all over my words.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why?
Cute guy next to me. Garrett, fashion photographer, sells clothes, does all the things fashion, and we wanted to talk about clothes today. We wanted to talk about fashion because me and Tay were having a conversation, was it last week?
Thursday?
Just
Yeah,
about,
Thursday, it is Thursday.
just getting old and then just kind of changing styles and just trying to shift into another direction, like stuff like that. So who's the best?
You'd be surprised how this topic got started up.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, how
I'm
did we- how-
super.
Godzilla.
As
How
all
did that
great
happen?
conversations happen, it all starts from Godzilla at some point. But who is the best dressed person I ever knew is always Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett.
So-
Garrett always had some drip.
So Garrett, say hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good. Hey, look at that. Hey,
He's a natural.
Garrett's first podcast.
Very first.
To make him
This is-
nervous. Who are you, Garrett?
No,
That's the hardest part.
Who am I?
Start spiraling. Can't believe it's not butter.
You gotta be like, I'm the one who knocks.
Skyler.
What?
This is your first
worry about
podcast, right?
It is very first podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
He had no idea what we were talking about.
My favorite thing my favorite thing that happens on this show is when either Crockett or Tay make a joke, and then Crockett doesn't catch the joke that Tay makes, or Tay doesn't catch the joke that Crockett makes. I'm always left in the middle, going like,
So nothing's changed. 'Cause that's how it was.
nothing changed. I'm always in the middle
podcast.
trying to like interpret like a married couple next to me. That's what it always feels like. Yeah.
He's dying. So is this what it's like to perceive me?
Yeah.
Is him dying?
Oh, they got my ass moved. It's so much more than
This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
He was like, what?
That is always your reaction to Crockett, by the way. Every single
I
time.
watched the last episode. Someone made a joke. I'm like, what do you guys say?
Oh, and I talk like really fast.
Yeah, could you like change
Talking about
topic
Wendy's.
instantly?
That's my brain, dude. Anyway, let's get the elephant out of the room. Yes, my hair is blonde. That's enough of that
Oh, yeah, I
topic.
forgot
Let's
it. Tay,
just
zoom in on
smooth
his
right
fucking head.
Just smooth right over
Yeah.
this whole thing.
Look at this whole situation.
Do you want me to get
looks
up? You want me to
nice.
Just
stand
give him a
up?
moment of
Yeah,
silence.
give us a little spin.
I'm on the sounds for my hair.
Just look at it, zoom in for like a 10
Yeah, just
seconds.
fucking like zoom into his face for a hot second. Right there, yeah. Look at that.
You just like
Just don't even say anything.
light skin look.
Oh God.
What is that? You want me like? You want me like?
No.
Nah.
Pose me.
Pose you.
Me. Go ahead. Pose me. Pose me.
What do you mean by
Treat
that?
him like a little Kendall.
I don't understand.
Yeah, there you go.
Like pose you?
Pose, yeah, pose me.
Yeah.
Give me a light skin stare.
Well,
I don't understand what you mean.
Crooked, all of your
sit
stares are
down
light skin
first.
stares.
It's more of a facial
by
than a
this.
full body. I mean,
What's that? Praying is like, I'm strong.
What?
The black church where they're like singing, it's like all the SpongeBobs and they're like praying, but they give him like a beard and everything. It's like Patrick singing. Never mind.
I've seen those.
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Anyway,
So you guys started talking about fashion.
Fashion, yeah.
And so like Garrett's like the best dressed dude that we went to uni together.
if we
You were a photographer, right? Not a fashion student.
had a yearbook, he would win best dress,
dress,
for sure.
yeah.
So you probably, confused because I actually did take a few fashion electives,
Yeah.
back then because I was just really into it. But
You could do that?
yeah,
You could draw. I took photography for mine.
yeah.
I took film.
I did photography, but I didn't manually do it or whatever.
Yeah,
You
you
just
just got
already-
like 2 classes or
for
something.
you
yeah.
because I think for some of you, especially in animation, like you kind of had to take some of those kind of random off
Yeah.
topic courses. I actually chose those fashion electives, and I'm like, I actually want to take this class and this class. Like, what can I do? I remember going to good old Sonnenberg for that.
Sonnenberg.
No one knows what we're talking about.
God, I forgot about him.
Right,
He had a
him.
ball spot.
a pretty big ball spot.
I remember. I forgot I hadn't heard that name for years.
Exactly.
People hated him, but I liked them. It was funny.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I remember
thought it was
him
hilarious.
hating it. Yeah.
I
forgot
think.
about that.
Well, I think more so the film students hate him more
Yeah, they
than like
did.
animation.
The film student, listen, I'm going to get this out of the way right now because I know we're probably going to reminisce about school. A lot of the film students at AI were a bunch of fucking pussies. I hated them.
Add that to the folder.
They all in that one room.
Yeah.
By the library.
I said one room pretty much.
They're just a bunch of fucking little
In the Edge building.
weirdos staring at each other.
Oh,
Hated
people
it.
breathing like this.
Some of them, I won't say names, but some of them came out of nowhere and they just like
Yeah, they
knew
just
me.
stuck around.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
How are you
here?
weirder than the animation students?
Right?
That's the real question. Like, no, there's some
that out.
freaks in.
Some of that stuff out.
Yeah, you're editing it. You got it out.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Tate's editing this
I got so
episode.
much power. This
I'm going on
episode.
vacation, yeah.
Oh, it's your
okay,
folder
okay.
now. Brian, say something racist. So we need some counter like
We need some leverage.
hitting that counter button.
Yeah, but Garrett was like we went to uni together, and Garrett, especially in the fall, like you had. I was like so jealous of your fall wear
It's true.
because like that one time I remember one outfit that stuck with me. It was you had a black pea coat on, but it was like a very square black pea coat.
Was it black or gray?
It was like a dark grayish,
Right, mhm,
dark
yeah.
grayish, and it was like a dark pea coat, but it like squared off your shoulders. It like silhouetted you so fucking well. And I don't know. I remember what trousers you were wearing, but like you just color coordinated the dog shit out of it. It looked good. It looked good. So it made sense to bring you in for the fashion episode. What?
You knew what you said.
What?
Trousers?
What?
You got a fucking problem?
Yeah, I do.
You got a fucking
Get
problem?
them red coat words out your mouth, young man.
They're trousers when they're not jeans or pants.
They're pants.
Oh, I
trousers.
There's
didn't
no
know that.
trousers or pants.
What?
I didn't know that. Just,
Yeah. Trousers.
They're not.
is-
They're pants. Pants and trousers are the same thing.
it's like the chips and fries bullshit they do.
Yeah.
You mean piss
a
and
little
shit?
I laugh so hard at that fucking image.
Anyway,
Oh, man.
Garrett, can you answer this question for us? Is pants and trousers the same thing or not?
I mean,
And while we're on that topic, what's a trouser snake?
Huh?
so trousers what?
What's a
I don't know. Answer
Never
that
mind.
question. What do you
Never
think?
mind.
I
Are
mean,
they-
from my knowledge, they are kind of different just because, especially for trousers, because trousers usually, I guess for both men and women, but I know like women's trousers are like very specific, and it's actually a trend right now in fashion. Women's trousers, more wide leg, definitely more what's the word? More pleated, so to speak. That's actually coming back
Yeah.
too in regards to things coming back
Yeah.
in style, so to speak. But for men's trousers, I think it depends on how it's cut and like how it fits on the body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think there is a slight difference.
So
There is a slight
what would you
difference.
classify as pants then?
What you're wearing now.
So chinos.
Yeah, so
Okay.
chinos and pants are like kind of like this. It's a very, I guess chino is like the specific pants.
Is it the fabric or is it like the style of it?
Probably more so the fabric. It could be both, but definitely more so the fabric.
It's so
the
jarring that we have a serious person on the podcast versus like the juxtaposition between I'm screaming trouser snake.
Yeah,
And
trousers.
then Garrett's
But
over
yeah,
here.
but- so there is a difference between trousers and pants.
So it's not a British. It's
yeah.
not British slang.
So yeah.
It's not like business shit.
Just saying that.
But yeah. So why did you guys started talking about this? Like, how did Godzilla spawn this topic?
You know.
Yeah. So Godzilla lately has been.
Go ahead and talk about the trailer real quick because we got to talk about it.
That's
We got to
2
do.
hours.
I know, but just briefly, just
We'll
like
leave it
how
for next week. The trailer fucks.
Yeah.
So
Fuck
there's
yeah.
new Godzilla coming out. Me and
Yeah.
Tay were very excited.
Wait, when does it come out?
December.
December 1st.
Oh shit!
Wait, I'm
nice.
trying to
Nice little
Not
Christmas present.
Godzilla versus Kong. There is a new Godzilla versus Kong.
Well, no,
Easy.
because the last Godzilla wasn't it? It was like him versus all the monsters, right? Wasn't that the
Yeah,
last one?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like a
It's a
Like a
Japanese.
No,
sequel
it's a
to-
Japanese one, not the American one.
Oh, okay.
No.
Never
fucking
mind.
good. I cannot wait.
Yes, it looks.
Yeah,
very
but no,
delicious.
no,
But we were talking about that, and then we got on fashion somehow.
Yeah. I was telling Jordan how Godzilla, the mascot's been appearing more in fashion, and I noticed they just throw him on graphic tees and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Jordan like they should make like Adidas Godzilla crossover or some shit, make it more pleasing to some people. Same with Nike as well. Then we just went on this tangent about like just different fashion styles and brands and all of that.
Well, I've been wanting to elevate my style a little bit
Yeah.
lately. I started off,
we can
which I
talk.
noted the last time you were hanging out at my house that you noticed that I started buying like shoes.
Yeah,
Because
because
Garrett. Okay, so Garrett, for context, Garrett was one of my roommates in college way back when, and Garrett knows how bad of a dresser I was. And now, like I had boyish good looks and no style.
I mean, what term is that though? That always confuses me.
What was that?
What determines
Like,
style?
that's what it brought up because I usually
What's-
most of the time dress casual as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of want to change that a little bit.
You want to elevate your style.
elevator style.
Gotcha.
Like
But-
I guess not color coordinating and stuff like that would be like not having just
Well,
like throwing on jeans and a graphic tee and calling it a day.
Yeah, so like you would want to kind of add and buy pieces that are more elevated than just as simple as a t-shirt, jeans, like kind of like, button-down shirts like this or like what he's wearing, trousers and other kind of pants to wear. Then of course you have all different types of shoe options, sneakers,
Loafers.
loafers, things like that. So there's actually,
Yeah, accessories.
yeah.
I've never been one to accessorize.
I
Honestly,
started
me
to doing
either.
that.
Yeah.
I know
Honestly,
the
me either.
rings
Oh,
and
look at you
this and
go.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know you were wearing wedding rings.
I wasn't wearing wedding.
Those are wedding bands. Yeah, you were sending me. I asked him because I was like thinking about wearing rings, and I was like,
I got
"Tay,
two
send me a
black
link because
rings.
Tay wears rings." And it was sent me a link to Amazon. It was wedding rings, wedding bands. I was like, "You've been wearing wedding rings around?"
No. But no, I started wearing accessories too. I like wearing black.
Accessorize.
Yeah, and I look good in black. I ain't
You
gonna
do
lie
look
about
good in
that.
black.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look good at nothing too.
Huh?
I'm sorry.
cutting that out.
It's that old. There's just a big like me looking at Tay and then like, in a move position.
Nah, but who was talking prior? Was it you?
It was Garrett talking about like the different kind of outfits that you can build.
I mean, I feel like if you want to elevate your style, you kind of have to, for one, kind of look at what you're already doing, what you already have, and think about, what is the most comfortable that you're most comfortable with in regards to adding into your wardrobe, in regards to how it fits and feels, and of course, how you look.
So let me ask you this, because I am not like I have occasionally pulled together one or two good outfits,
Mm-hmm.
not on purpose,
Mhm.
that are completely accidental. It's mostly false stuff.
Boy, let me tell you, when you got that trench coat. Wait. Well, there's two things here.
There's
I want to
a
bring up.
peacoat that's
There's the peacoat.
genuinely-
The peacoat had you acting differently.
Yeah.
You were walking
the peacoat
different.
had me fucking.
You were like fucking we ball on that peacoat.
I don't remember.
I think I remember the peacoat
That was
actually.
the brown peacoat that I
Hey,
wear every winter.
Very
brown or
nice.
black?
Yeah, it was like I had a black trench coat.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember the
Yeah,
trench
I
coat.
remember the trench coat.
Scary.
I
Yeah.
walked into I walked with that trench coat on. It was a Goodwill trench coat. The guy that owned it definitely dead. That's the only reason I ended up at fucking Goodwill. They knew the story about the trench coat somehow.
It was probably like a $600 trench coat, to be honest.
Yeah. It was like an expensive trench coat that someone got. I got it for like $20. And it's like a little too big. Like the guy that owned it before me was a massive bloke. And I got it and I wore it to school. And the first time I wore it to school, I walked over by the front door and the security guard, his name was Aaron.
Oh, the big guy?
The big guy. He looks at me, eyes me up and down and goes like, "You're not going to shoot the place, are you?"
The Undertaker.
You know what's crazy? So like my long overcoat, I actually got from a thrift store as well. But I remember going to Walmart and this guy stopped me. He was like, "Oh, I like your coat." He was like, "Actually reminds me of Columbine." And I was like,
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
What a compliment.
right. I was like, thanks.
Yeah, that's all those coats are like give you the sketchy.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's because you can hide all the shit.
Yeah,
inside
and like
them.
they're long and like I guess like depending
Or the
on
Matrix.
someone's that too.
What that made it
Matrix.
cool though.
Yeah, well, the difference. You know what the difference between that is? And Garrett, I think you can support me. It's tailoring.
Yes. Oh yes.
It's
yes.
tailoring.
That-
Like if you have a loose, baggy
Yes,
trench coat, you look like you're gonna like
Yes.
rob a bank.
because like you have in a sense room to put
Yeah, put all
guns
this
and
shit.
whatever types of shit in there. But if it's more tailored, more fitted, then it looks more clean, like more of a
Well, you
classic
try.
cut.
More
Yeah.
fur fit them, yeah. And
Yeah.
so like you can't hide shit in there. It looks cooler. You look classy
Exactly.
versus wearing a wrinkly, leathery, dead man trench coat.
Yeah, something's
That was
off
right.
with that jacket. Like I can't rock that at all.
Yeah.
No, I can't. But
It's
I
fun.
think you
I like
could.
it.
no.
I think you could.
I had a pea coat in high school, and I thought I was a bad man. with
Yeah,
that thing
it's tip
on.
your hat. It's the
Pea coat can't change a man.
My lady.
My ladies.
That's
like,
what
Yeah,
it reminds
a
me of.
no, you be like baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But a good pea coat, like that brown pea coat that I had, has been my favorite jacket of all time. I got it at like Burlington's for like $100.
They are like a classic piece to like to have.
Yeah.
That you can wear like for the rest of your life. Like it's always good to have one of those.
Yeah, it's
pea
awesome.
coat can change completely.
Yeah.
Like you can throw on a pea coat and be wearing jeans and look
Pea
good.
coat?
Mhm.
What is a pea coat?
It's the fabric. It's like a what the fuck?
I thought it was
It's
a
more
style.
thicker.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Yeah. There's like this.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Got you.
It's
Yeah.
it's like it has buttons and it comes
Oh yeah,
over
those
the
are
main chest.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah,
like
those are
it's a
awesome.
navy. It's like a navy uniform type thing, right?
Yeah.
That's where it started from.
The origin I'm not sure, but like,
I've always assumed that it was like a navy because it's a navy outfit. You see a lot of
I
like
wouldn't-
navy captains.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I actually am not
The lighthouse.
sure or familiar. Which
Yeah,
actually-
exactly.
Yeah, which would actually makes sense. But you know, I actually can't recall like the origin of them or like where or
Yeah.
when they were. I guess men started wearing them, but yeah,
They fucking rule. I love a good pea coat.
I always been a hoodie guy. I love
Yeah.
hoodies.
yeah,
I
you
buy
are.
coats
Yeah.
every year. Yeah,
That's
I love
awesome.
coats.
Tay did love his hoodies.
Yeah, I love my hoodies.
So, but I bring that up because like that pea coat has been the only piece that I bought that made me feel like a baddie. It was
Yeah.
that pea coat, and so like, you style people for a living.
Right.
When you look at somebody, what are you looking for? Like someone wants to elevate their style. Someone goes up to you and says, "Garrett, I want to look better. What the fuck do I do?"
I mean, the first thing that I guess to me, like the first place to start is like, how do you dress already? Like,
Mhm.
what are you wearing? How do you feel? Like, what do you, or like, how do you think you look, so to speak? And, kind of seeing like, what would you like to change? Whether it's just like what you wear, like in regards to your tops, your pants, your shoes, all of the above, of course, being mindful of like what someone feels comfortable wearing. If they want to start wearing, certain colors or just like a certain, I guess, like look or aesthetic in general.
Yeah.
So it kind of really just depends. But you definitely want to kind of start and see like where someone's head is, what they're comfortable with, what they're open to. Because a lot of people are not as open to something different, switching it up, trying new things.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because it feels like you look like you had something. in
Oh
your
well,
mind.
like in college, like I remember I took him to the mall with me. I'm like, Garrett, help me style myself. And like I remember I was like, there was like a lot of stuff I didn't want to wear
wanna try.
because like I just wouldn't leave that comfort zone.
Yeah, well, it's because like clothing specifically can feel so judgmental. Like it's so vulnerable to express yourself through fashion. And kind of like the idea of like walking outside and like wearing something that you're not used to wearing. Like if someone says
yeah.
that doesn't look great, or like, why are you wearing that? Like immediately the fear is like, oh, this is fucking silly. I'm never doing
Well,
this
you
again.
look at yourself and you're like, I feel fucking stupid.
It's
Yeah.
probably in your head though, right? But you probably actually
Yeah.
good.
It is absolutely in your head,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, I would say like the key is confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of people that we see that have this like outrageous, crazy, funky, cool style, despite how it might look to us, they're able to, put that on, walk out, and come off as like this badass because like they're confident.
Like
Right,
the way
yeah.
they carry themselves in
Yes.
that object.
There's this TikToker. I don't follow him, but it's this black guy, tall guy. He wears all these like fashionable clothes.
Yeah, he does like the anime.
Yeah.
The anime
Oh,
fashion.
yeah.
Where is he wearing that at? Like,
That's his apartment, I think.
I mean, like, does he?
Oh,
wear
you
that?
mean like if functional?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, does
I
he
think a lot
wear
of
that?
that's a lot of like aesthetic. Like people probably do wear those, but to events,
Yeah.
aesthetically to go to the grocery store, I don't think.
That's what I mean. Like, is he going out looking like that?
No.
There's like two types of fashion.
But is he the
Right.
same guy that like he'll recreate outfits based on like characters?
Yeah,
Like
correct?
yeah,
anime
yeah.
stuff like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen him before. So like to me, stuff like that, I feel like he could be doing that just to kind of like recreate like these particular characters and kind of like adding his own personal touch
Yeah.
with like the color scheme or like certain actual pieces that the characters are wearing. But in regards to functional, I guess depending on where you live and what you do,
hmm
because I feel like, for example, like if you live in New York and you want to go to the store, why not just put on
Style
something
up.
like, I guess, elaborate, dramatic? Because,
Mhm.
but, I think it just depends, honestly, really. But
Like a lot of Rick Owens stuff is like you can't just wear that. That's the stuff.
Lot of
That's the
what?
type of stuff Rick Owens.
he's a
No.
fashion designer, yeah.
Like that's
Why'd
that
you know that?
weird. Because I have friends that wear a lot of Rick Owens.
Really?
Yeah.
Cosplayers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Okay,
that's
that's fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
so and
see that.
that's kind of like where I'm getting like how I got into like wanting to kind of elevate my style is because I was buying like this Ken cosplay that I'm doing
Who?
for the Barbie movie, and I was really going to
That's
like
news to me.
Yeah, okay, he's doing it. He got
Jesus
got
Christ.
outfit.
Come on, Barbie.
Let's go
Barbie.
He got a fucking outfit from a LGBT sex shop.
What?
Didn't you tell me that you went
It's
to like
not a sex shop, no, but it's a
It's like the kind of outfit that you get at a sex shop.
no.
It's like a gay.
It's a gay gay store that you would see someone wear these outfits at Pride.
What?
Yeah.
Like a pink shirt?
It was no
Harness?
Well, they had
Do
a
you
lot
have the
of.
little
There's a lot of
cowboy vest?
mesh stuff. You probably know what website I'm talking about. I'll try to find it for you. But it's a lot of stuff at that store. I found the.
This? Or something?
No, I'm not. I'm doing the Cowboy Ken one.
I don't.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Garrett, I guarantee you they sell that clothing at sex shops. That's exactly what it is. Because I've been inside them. And it's just like, that's what they sell. But anyway, all that to say, what were you saying about the fucking Ken? You're cosplaying Ken?
I'm cosplaying Cowboy Ken, and
Yeah.
I was like just building. This is the first time I've just built an outfit from just regular clothing.
Yeah.
And I was going to I was finding these fashion websites, and I was like, oh, this is really nice looking. And then I know I have a lot of friends that like dress like they're really into fashion.
Yeah.
They're a little bit younger than me. And I was like, man, I should really like kind of, I was like looking at my closet and I was thinking, this is just full of graphic tees.
Yeah,
and I
so-
really don't have a lot of like, and then I know Tay was coming to this like podcast a lot and he's been dressing a lot nicer. And I was like, man, I should really
That's
kind of
it.
like,
You really have been looking nice. lately.
Yeah, I'm not in that. I mean, occasionally buy them when someone gives them to me. Like, I don't wear like the graphic tees like
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
But you're a good accessorizer.
No, I
You have like
consider it.
good sunglasses, good necklaces.
I'm a
and shit.
glasses guy. Though. I love glasses.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
got those.
Yeah,
the other day.
you do look glasses.
But that's new. I started like 2 summers ago, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I love a good V-neck plain shirt. I'll rock
Yeah.
that anytime. Yeah.
So it sounds like your style is more like just plain and simple, easy, comfortable. I haven't heard of that site before, honestly. But
It's like,
yeah, to me, it seems like you're.
in room in
interesting.
here.
What's up?
But
It's,
it sounds like
yeah.
your style is just like
Looks
clean,
good,
simple, really comfortable, which honestly, to me, kind of reflects like your personality, like like who you are as a person.
Flat and boring.
I think a lot of people, oftentimes like their personal style reflects who they are as a person.
Yeah.
How they carry themselves, how they feel about themselves, how they come off to other people. Like if I saw Tay, matter of fact, wearing something like what Jordan has on, I would be like,
What's going on here?
Yeah, I wore.
like what's the special occasion? Like what's,
Yeah,
No.
I started buying dress shirts from Express and to get a tie and wear jeans and shoes with it.
Oh, you got
Yeah, but
you get that from me?
No, I've been doing that.
I've been going to Express for a while now. I really like Express stuff.
I got like.
But see, this is what I want to break out of from. I wanted to break out from trying to go to H&M, go to like, if I'm trying to elevate my style, going to like lesser known websites that are like a little bit more expensive. The quality's there, but you're dressing in a very elevated style versus like.
Or you can come shop with me, like I've been trying to get you to do for the past like 3 years.
Okay. Oh yes. Okay.
It's a fun video too, by the way.
Because I remember like, with my job,
that would be a fun video.
I remember with my job, I'm like, hey Jordan, I work here. You should stop by. I told you where it is, and I'm like,
Garrett, I might need to recruit you because I like layers. I kind of like my aesthetic for a while was kind of like tired professor shows up to class.
I know. I loved it about you though.
And and I haven't done it in a hot second. Like I feel like I want to build a couple of fits surrounding that aesthetic of like
that photo of
looking
you.
like a tired professor.
Yeah, that photo of you with the camera.
The camera and the coffee mug.
I love that photo.
Yeah,
that's my favorite photo of you. Yeah. When I see that, that's Bryan. It just defines you so well.
I haven't dressed like that in a hot second.
All I can think of is like when she thinks you're out cheating, but you're really gassing your boy up on the podcast. I love that outfit on you. You look amazing, man.
Yeah, you look good in that photo.
Well, like you should you could literally like come into my job, and I would literally, if you like booked it ahead of time, I could like pull things for you, tell me like what you're looking for, what you're open to. I could literally pull things for you, put it in the fitting room for you. Like you come in, try things on, see how it fits, how it looks, what you're thinking about it, and do like the whole thing.
Can I get your opinion on like baggy stuff versus like fitted stuff? Like what's too tight, what's too loose? That's a new style like kids are kind of doing, like very baggy. Like
it's funny because it went tighter, right? Then it came back to a little more.
You know what prompted this? I know exactly now. It just dawned on me why we brought up the fashion thing. I got bullied by you guys. I was wearing skinny jeans to the podcast one day, and you guys looked at me and you're like, Jordan, what are you doing? Take those things off. And I went and I got home and I'm like, they're right. I've not worn skinny jeans. I think maybe once. And that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I just stopped wearing.
I forgot that we bullied you out of skinny jeans.
Yeah,
the black ones, right?
Yeah. I used to wear them all the time, and I'm like, I only wear, skin tight skinny jeans.
Slim
Yeah. Well, no, it was tight. It was super skinnies, and they're ripped. And that's all I ever wore. And then that's when I started.
Spencer's?
What?
They're from Spencer's?
No, they're from like
Jeans
Hollister.
at Spencer's.
Or Abercrombie.
Remember?
Yeah, Spencer was a weird shop.
Like especially like when we were younger, like that's where all the skater kids got their skinny jeans from Spencer's
I didn't know
and
that.
Or Hot Topic.
Hot Topic. I don't know if Zoomies was out back then, but like Hot Topic
Zoomies
and
was still
Spencer's,
there. It was Hot Topic, Spencer's, and Sumi's, and I know because I shopped at Hot Topic a lot.
You're right.
And I would always say, what'd you say?
That's where I got my graphic tees from back
Yeah,
then.
same.
My
Yeah,
little band tees, whatever.
Your anime profile picture.
And I remember the I don't know how this is gonna come off, but I remember the weird girls that went to high school shopped at Spencer's.
Yeah.
For some reason, they had the weird. It was like they
gloves
went to
with the gloves
Hot
with
Topic and Spencer's.
with
The scene bullshit.
Scene
Like the
kids.
emo scene.
The alt kids.
With the chains and
Yeah.
the jeans and the purple sweat.
Me. You guys talking about me. I know you guys all talking about me.
When I first met you, I remember I think you had just cut your hair
Yeah.
by the time I met you. But like,
Well,
I'm sad that we
toured the
never got
school
to
with
see
long
a-
hair.
yeah.
I'm glad that I never got to meet long hair Crockett.
A lot of people do
I'm
not.
sad.
I
sad.
don't remember it.
So what happened is I toured the school with long hair, and then I went back and I graduated high school and I cut my hair for I think senior prom,
That makes sense.
and then like a week or two later I graduated and then came back. So people did meet me that first time I was there. I had long hair, but people don't remember that.
Because I think your ID picture was with long
Yeah,
hair.
so
That was it.
yeah. So that was the joke. Like the ID picture for school that I walked around with, I had long hair because I got it done while I
I
was
never knew
touring.
that.
Yeah.
I never realized that.
Yeah.
Shit.
I remember
So
that.
people would see it and they're like, "You had long hair," and I'm like, what was the funniest thing was that people were like, "Oh, I remember you long hair," and I'm like, I didn't come here. I wasn't here when I had long hair.
They just saw the ID card.
I was like, "You're a
Gaslit them
liar.
into thinking
You're a
that they had
fucking
long hair.
liar."
I think even your old driver's license, you had long
Yeah,
hair.
I remember
Yeah.
license.
That was
Our
always
driver's
funny.
license.
That was always a funny joke. Some people almost didn't take it sometimes because I look so much different.
I hate my ID. I look like a fucking.
I'm the type of person to change up every once in a while.
Wait a minute.
You get different IDs?
No, just like I had long hair and then I just cut it
yeah.
all off one day, and then one day I
Ah.
had brown hair and now I have blonde hair.
We're white.
Look at that. Fucking
It's white.
Bleach blonde.
Dude, you need the face tattoos from Ryan Gosling in The Place Beyond the Pines.
Dude, I know, but he has a shitty dye job in that. But I do like I would look good with some face tattoos.
Okay.
Like a
I guess-
big snake right there.
I guess for today you have your little blue star on you.
Yeah, that is like a little acne patch.
What? It is?
cool.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, that's fun.
You never seen girls wear these?
Not
Guys,
stars.
guys wear
Not
them.
stars.
I've seen like random little.
Oh,
I guess,
the,
like,
the, the clear ones. And
Yeah,
stuff?
or
Yeah.
even like little Band-Aid looking ones, but not.
No, these are pretty popular.
I don't go out
Crocus,
much.
you're a cute man. You just be doing to the
Don't
beat of
catch
your
him
drum.
up.
Thank you. Hey, wait, whoa, brother.
Hold on.
This is
slow down.
this is a safe zone. What? Let's get back to fashion.
I can
Let's get
edit it
back
out.
Oh
I have the power now.
So,
no, Brian, say something.
so Garrett, what's like there's two types of fashion. You got like your high fashion, which is like the concept fashion.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, finish that thought, but I still want to answer the fitted
Baggy
versus
versus-
baggy.
Oh,
closet.
gotcha. Yeah. Go ahead. Finish the answer of the fitted versus baggy.
To me, like like when we were, when we were younger, hell, 15, 16,
Soldier Boy
17.
fit.
Yes, the Soldier Boy era.
Hated those days.
The Soldier Boy era. We
Yeah,
we
me
had
too.
the baggy pants, the long, tall shirts.
You could hide a whole AK in your
You
pants
really-
in your shirt.
I know a guy who used
That
to
was a-
sag, and he was sagging, but his shirt was so long
You couldn't
couldn't
tell.
tell.
I remember, yes. I remember those
That
guys.
shit was funny as hell.
So I feel like after that period, we actually didn't. I think
The 2010s we slimmed down.
the actually to me it was the because I remember I was a freshman in high school, but it was the You're a Jerk era.
Yeah, Waka Flocka and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when I guess it was more acceptable for men to actually wear skinny jeans now that either weren't gay or weren't considered emo or like whatever the case
With
was.
the Cookie Monster hat.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Every
Yeah.
school.
And the
Every-
bandanas around the neck. I remember that time very
Shirts
well.
with
No.
the airbrushed gangster SpongeBob
Yes.
and shit.
Oh
That's
my
2005.
God.
Every high school had a girl to wear the Cookie Monster hat and the Cookie Monster pajamas to school. Everyone knows exactly what
Her
I'm
name
talking
is
about.
Stacy, got black hair.
Yes, actually.
And
Smoke
she ate
cigarettes.
hot Cheetos
She
every
smokes.
day.
She smells like cheese somehow.
But
Anyway,
But I remember like that transition of like, okay, now it's, it was more acceptable for like everyone to be wearing, skinny jeans. And like, it kind of stuck around for a good 10 years plus. I mean, I feel like,
it took a long time to get out of that fashion
yeah.
style.
but after that though, I got lost. Like, where is it now?
Like to me, I
Yeah.
feel like after that, it kind of was kind of like, do what you want. It was kind of like more like a personal preference. But now it definitely is more like this whole Y2K, late 90s, early 2000s. It's baggier, but like I guess more of like a classical, or not classical, but like classic tailored fit. So it's not, I mean, it could be as dramatic as like the mid 90s, big baggy pants, the chunky shoes, like that whole thing. But I've noticed that a lot, especially like regards to denim and jeans, it's a lot more, it's baggy, but also like tailored. You
Right.
know?
It's like it bags out, but
Yeah.
it's form fitting in certain spots.
Yes. So matter of fact, with the company I work for right now, like we actually specialize in jeans.
Mhm.
And a
Oh,
lot of
hell
the
yeah.
jeans that we have now, matter of fact, we do have like a jean called it's called the baggy straight.
Baggy straight, huh?
Yeah, so it's pretty
I gotta see it in person or something.
yeah.
Is it kind of like it's kind of like tight around the thighs and then when it gets
No,
down?
it's like just baggy.
Oh, it's just baggy.
like from
I
top
don't-
to bottom.
I would like that.
But
Is
like
it parachute pants?
No, I see where you're coming from.
the
it's not
bottom.
as dramatic as a parachute pant.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
when you think about
But
it.
it definitely kind of has like this mid to late 90s feel to it. Just like the whole
Get some Tims with it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
could throw some tips if you wanted to.
That'd be insane.
No,
I
I
mean-
wore that before, or something like that in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean that was like
Is
the
that the
style.
equivalence to it? No.
It does feel like a whole like an early like Y2K kind of vibe, honestly.
That's kind of like the style nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like the era because so eventually this will change. It's like a fad, whereas like it used to be
Yeah.
really skinny and then it's going back to fat and so. Do you think kids nowadays are more into fashion than like kind of like what we were, or you think that was just kind of because just of us?
I feel like every generation I think is like really into it.
Yeah.
but every generation, depending on like that age group, you know, they could be the ones to like start these trends to like make them more popular. Like we're seeing like, you know, like maybe the Gen Z group, you know, wearing the whole Y2K baggy look, which is funny because they were either being born or weren't born yet when everyone else was wearing it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's kind of the key thing is that usually, you know, certain generations will pick up certain trends that, for example, maybe they couldn't be a part of or like weren't, I guess, old enough to really kind of participate in to an extent.
You think they're going into their parents' like closet and digging out like old pants?
Oh,
and
yeah.
shirt. Well, and then a lot of I don't know if this is like kind of like a new concept or it's just more popular, but thrifting seems like it's grown in popularity.
Yeah, which
because I feel like when we were kids, like when I was in high school, no one went to thrift stores.
Fair, yeah.
No one. But like the school I went to, which was kind of like a small town school, and I don't know like what was like going on in the city. But like people wasn't like no one was into fashion like that. No one cared.
That's what I want to bring up though. Like who determines the trend for the next generation? Like, who doing it? Like when I buy clothes, I'm just buying what I like. I'm not thinking what everyone else is wearing. If that makes sense.
I think a lot of it depends on, you know, you have, especially, I feel like when we were growing up, it was a bit different because social media was like just beginning. Like we were like the youngest group to kind of like grow up with social media. So I feel like for the trends back then, a lot of our generation, those older than us, they were looking at the celebrities.
Yeah.
So now because social media is so, you know, it's of course everywhere,
so prevalent,
and everyone's on it at this point. Like no matter what age, you know, you're looking at other people, whether like they're older or younger than you. Ooh, like what are they wearing? Especially like the popular social media influencers. Like they're the ones who
it's more diverse than ever.
Yeah, like we're like they're the ones that are like kind of setting the trends or picking up on the trends and kind of making it bigger. You know, because it could be someone small that starts something like they're kind of, you know, they're rocking it, they're pulling it off, but then someone who is more influential, like they start doing it, they try, and then like their audience, their crowd, you know, picks up on it, and like it kind of blows up. So
there's also this like sort of like fashion hierarchy where like every year like you get the big fashion shows and they release like a really big conceptual like high fashion look, and that gets sort of trickled down until it becomes like a functional item of clothing.
True, which it also depends on the brand. Certain brands, especially like the big high-end brands, some of those brands, it's like, you know, high fashion, high couture. It's very
couture. That's a word.
It's very artistic.
Yeah.
Like some stuff is like really dramatic, just for one way, not really as functional.
Right.
Versus you have some of these brands that actually release collections and pieces that could be taken like, you know, individually and kind of like worked into someone's already official wardrobe.
Like Louis Vuitton with the purses and dresses. Or Gucci has like dresses and stuff like that.
Gucci has dresses? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know.
Well, like for men, I think now, because there's kind of like this blurred line in regards to fashion and gender and whatnot, you know, which I think is kind of a good thing, because before it was so like, oh, you're a man, you can't wear this. And like,
But also that's a resurfacing from like the late 60s, early 70s.
Like short shorts and all that.
Yeah, well, short shorts and all that,
70s,
but like
80s.
men dressed like
Gucci daddy shorts.
It's a whole trend.
Celebrities in the 80s, like 70s and 80s, dressed really genderly ambiguous. Like, of course, we have fucking Elton John, we have David Bowie.
Hair metal.
Hair metal.
They were changing up everything.
So like, I feel like we went through a period where it was like very gendered.
Twisted Sisters.
Yes.
And now we're going back to like that 70s, 80s style where like gender is more of an ambiguous idea in fashion.
So that's the thing with fashion in general. History, history always repeats itself. So like, you know, Jordan, to what you just said earlier, you know, I think, you know, back then, kids were going in their parents' closets in the 70s, 80s, pulling out things that they thought were cool, whether it was, you know, to mix in what they already have or just like to dress up in general. But now, you know, now I feel like certain trends and things kind of always, I guess, you know, certain trends can like stick around and maybe be more subtle until like it's more like a focal point. But now I feel like the 90s has come back a lot. Like a lot of the oversized, baggy. Matter of fact, to me, it kind of went from like 90s to like the early 2000s, Y2K. That's kind of like
A
where
lot
we
of-
are like
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, a
got
lot of like
the-
cargo like pants and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big fashion thing. It's like cargo pants and then some Jordans.
Yeah.
on.
Or like now the Yeezys.
Yeah. No,
never
it's
seen
like
one
I see a
really.
lot of like Air Jordan 1s with like cargo pants. That's like that's
Mhm.
a really
And you
common
can
thing to
either-
see.
Oh, go ahead.
Like you can either do with like a more fitted, classic cut fit shirt or something more like a bit more oversized, a bit longer. Kind of just depends.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing about and like fashion is because I'm a photographer too. I'm a photographer and I do video.
Mhm.
And you've worked as a fashion photographer and
Mhm.
photographer for like a while.
Yeah.
And the really interesting thing about like fashion and like the crossover between fashion and photography is that you want this really high dramatic silhouettes and like just dynamic poses for your composition. But now I feel because we're so centered on social media nowadays, a lot of the trends and a lot of the outfits that I see are about creating those silhouettes like naturally
Mhm.
and like
Instagram style.
yeah, just like building an aesthetic that is
Yeah.
like Instagrammable or photographable to begin with. And that's why I feel like fashion is fashion is a really unique form of like self-expression
Oh yeah, for
to
sure.
me because
It
it
always
is-
has been, in my opinion.
it always
Yeah,
has
yeah.
been.
Always.
But like I don't dress particularly fashionable, but when I do want to like dress up and like elevate the style, like I go for layers and things that make me look blocky and square because that's like just like the general shape that I am. And I forgot my point entirely, completely forgot my point.
I think like to
Yeah.
the point that you just made, I feel like I think a lot of people oftentimes do, dress for their body type or dress to like what feels comfortable to them based on how like they perceive themselves, which depending on the person or the situation sometimes might not always be the best look for them,
Right.
which, sometimes people can, what's that word? People can
Like
what's the word?
Overdress or overcompensate.
Like overcompensate for their body. Like they can wear
Mhm.
things like too big
Yeah.
or too small, trying to hide or make things look like
Mm.
you could definitely use fashion to create shapes and silhouettes like on the body itself or
Mhm.
like,
like manipulate yourself.
like
Wear a smaller shirt to make yourself look muscular. or
right,
something
which
like that.
men have been doing forever at this point.
Yeah. I mean, look at Tay over there.
This not a small. What is a small, but it feels big.
Give me a flex. Give me a flex there.
Damn.
God damn.
Hey, you can't bring pythons in here, man.
Can't bring guns. But I like wearing like tighter shirts though.
Yeah, this is
Kind
comfortable.
of. Yeah.
I find fashion so fascinating. I want to do fashion photography, but I don't know a goddamn thing about fashion. I just like the angles and the cameras and like the photography that comes out of the fashion industry, especially things that are like so colorful and bright and like saturated and like now we're going back to vintage prints and that's like really exciting.
Just fun.
You got me thinking. Like I have no fucking clue what people. I gotta pay attention more now and like see what people wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For like men's style, anyway, what is popular right now? Because like I'm looking some stuff up right now, and it's a lot of button ups. It's a lot of like short for like summer wise. Because
Man,
do
I
you
see
want
a
to go
little
through like the
slutty man.
seasonal? Yeah, like
I think
how
fall's the best season for dressing.
True.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
my personal, like
and
yeah.
you could probably
Garrett
you can
can work
testify
out all
this
the
probably
time.
to like it's like the layering.
Yeah.
It's like
Layering.
you can layer and look really good.
I think a lot of people in general enjoy the fall in regards to getting dressed up because like you can layer, you know, some people in my opinion like to hide certain things. So like they're able to cover up and like wear these really nice pieces and layer them together, and maybe hide things that they don't want the people to like kind of like see like on a regular basis. But I feel like in general, the fall, people love to layer different colors, different pieces, sweaters, coats, cardigans, hats, gloves, like scarves,
Me and
all that
Crockett are
stuff.
cardigan men.
Love
Yeah,
a
we
good
just talked about. I
cardigan.
want a long cardigan, like a
Give-
drape
yeah.
kind of one. What do you call that?
Like a duster cardigan.
I gotta pick a picture. I sent
Like a trench coat, yeah, like a long cardigan.
Long cardigan.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's awesome. I just got a cardigan that has a big fucking raccoon on the back. It's a raccoon wearing a cowboy hat on the back.
But I started getting
Yeah.
into flannels about a year ago or two.
Flannels go hard.
I
do.
love flannels.
Yeah, flannels go hard.
Flannels, I feel like
I look
are,
good as fuck.
Make you look like the Black Paul Bunyan over there.
flannels. Flannels, I feel like, are as classic as pea coats.
Yeah.
Pea coats, trench coats. Like you can definitely wear them in the fall. You can dress them up. You can dress them down. You can
Kind of
wear
like
them.
never goes away.
Yeah.
It always like
timeless,
fall.
yeah.
Fall is like there's gonna be flannels.
So let me ask you this, Garrett. What is like someone is looking to elevate their style, like apart from going to a shop like the one that you work at and like trying out a whole bunch of different shit. Like, what is the psychology of like getting out of your comfort zone when trying to elevate your style?
Actually, that's good. I'm glad you brought this up because I was thinking like we have a lot of listeners that are probably like maybe want to elevate their style in a way that like because we have a lot of fans that are like gamers and maybe people that don't dress like so. They don't know how to really. They may want to feel good and like look good and like.
But it's people that were never exposed to it. People that were never exposed to the idea of like nice looking clothes.
Exactly, and they don't know. and this is kind of like where I'm coming from, where like I don't know how to go about doing it. Would you recommend like going to like Pinterest and kind of like building out your own, trying to find your own styles, or how would someone get into like trying to or find a personal stylist like you yourself?
Dip their fit into it without getting so overwhelmed that they back out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely, people have been on Pinterest forever looking up different fashion trends, fashion inspiration, things like that. I remember, when I was, either in high school or right out of high school, going on Pinterest and kind of just looking at different,
references and all that.
just different references and just kind of like getting an idea for just different things that I was doing at that time. But Pinterest could be a good start if you kind of maybe like know a certain aesthetic that you want to achieve or like try to achieve, just in regards to like visually looking at pictures of people, or with social media being so popular right now, if there's maybe a certain influencer that you follow or that you see or like that pops up on your feed or whatever, kind of seeing what they're wearing, how they put things together.
Let's say this. Let's take 2016 Jordan that does not know how to dress at all.
Okay.
And he's open to anything. He's open to like he doesn't know. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to coordinate the colors or layering. He doesn't know any of this stuff. If he came to you, where would you take him? Where would you start him? Actually, where's a good place to go to kind of like try trial stuff, and then to like trying to figure out how would you teach someone like how to kind of coordinate for their body type, body style, and then like how to figure out what their colors and everything like that.
Pause that. You remember those American flag shoes? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me thinking like, what were you?
Well, that's funny because like I only ever wore one shoe for like 3 years until I would wear a shoe until it died.
Okay.
And then I would go buy another new shoe. And that's how I live my life.
You know what's fun? I remember like when I was a kid in elementary school, which of course would make sense being a little kid, like, like you bought one brand new pair of shoes for the school year, and, like behold, back to school shopping, you get that one pair of shoes that you love. And
that's been instilled in my head for years. I never changed.
Well, I still do that in a way. Like I have that shoe I always wear because this is the shoe that.
But you have multiple shoes now.
Yeah.
I didn't own multiple shoes. I own one pair of shoes. And maybe a pair of flip flops.
Some shoes I forget I have. I forgot I have Vans at the house.
Yeah, and now I think I'm to that point because now I started going out. I have like a bunch of shoes that I mix. Actually, I even got a compliment at work one time because they're like, "You're always wearing a different shoe." They always. I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like they're complimenting my shoe collection. I'm like, that's insane to me because like when I was in high school or when I was in college. I only ever wore one pair of shoes until they died, like the American flag ones.
Yeah. I just thought of it. I'm sorry to cut you off. But,
no, you're good. But it's funny because I remember, like when I was in elementary school, I remember, like the whole back to school shopping, getting that one pair of shoe. That was the shoe for the whole year. But I do remember at that time, for one, I'm honest, I can actually remember when I started like dressing myself versus like my mom picking out my clothes. I can still remember like, okay, I'm going to pick out my own clothes and like put things together and kind of like, do this whole thing. It actually kind of just came natural. I think a lot of it did come from.
Based on what she did to you?
No, actually just more so like the style and trends of like that time, like just seeing other kids in school or whatever, or even, with watching TV and watching
That makes so much sense because
like Disney Channel back then.
Because I always thought that the hottest people in TV were the tired teacher librarian types, and I feel like that ingrained with me as a kid.
And it's funny because that's what you innocently gravitated towards.
I never did that. When I think about it,
See, and it's funny because I guess like not everyone would, or maybe did, for example, or maybe some people did it at different points or ages, so to speak. But I remember doing it in like 3rd grade. I kid you not. I remember like I'm gonna start picking up my own clothes, and I remember specifically wearing something a certain way because I saw like someone else do it. It was like a basic plain long sleeve shirt with like a different color T-shirt on top, like that whole early 2000s.
Yeah.
I remember
that's
doing
classic.
that.
Yeah.
I saw someone else do it.
I used like a shirt like this and like a long sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do that.
Or even the those like the same, long sleeve shirts with like these shirts on top, like that whole trend.
That was my whole.
with
that
the
was my
baggy
whole
jeans.
shtick.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like
Max Keeble.
Yes, exactly.
when I was like 11. I was 11. I wore that Miami Heat jersey with a black shirt on. Couldn't tell me nothing.
Yes.
I looked so good in it.
I remember the jersey. Yeah,
the jersey and shirt.
For some reason, in Puerto Rico, like a lot of like American hip hop culture made it back exclusively as fashion. So we had all of the brands. We had Volcom and Echo and
Oh, the shitty Rhino shoes.
the shitty Rhino.
And DC shoes. I hated DC shoes.
I always wanted a pair of these.
What was that right now?
Fat tongue shoes. They're awful, dude.
Yeah,
You
they were
always
skater
saw-
shoes back in the
You always
day.
saw a fat kid that tried to dress like a skater, always wearing those fat boy shoes, dude. That's
No, I always tell people this though, like jokes aside, Jordans don't look right on people my size or skinnier. Jordans fit someone like Bryan sizing up. Jordans
Yeah, because
fits
they're
really,
fucking chunky.
Yeah, they just
They're
look
big
better on you
shoes,
guys.
Yeah.
though.
I think it depends on the person, honestly. I could see you wearing a pair of Jordans.
I was young, but they don't look right people my size or skinnier.
Depending on which number you get, because of course every Jordan is like a different silhouette.
Yeah.
So you might look better with like I could see you wearing like a pair of 3s or 4s.
I didn't fucking know that. I just
Yeah.
thought that Jordans look like Jordans.
No, there's
No.
like a bunch of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Jordans won, baby. That's all I know.
So for example, I could see Jordan here actually
Yeah.
wearing a pair of Jordan 1s.
Named
or-
after Michael Jordan, actually.
pretty much. But
This is actually true too many years ago.
That's a real story. I was named after Michael Jordan.
That's canon.
serious?
But they let my brother was 11 years
Yeah,
old,
he
and they
did
let
put
him
that.
name me.
I remember that story.
They threw you like this.
That's how the doctor cut the umbilical cord. They snapped me off like that.
And I feel like with Air Jordans,
He rebounds.
everyone will kind of gravitate towards like their ideal silhouette. But again, also it can kind of tie to how you wear it, how you style it. But like for you, based on what I have known of you all these years, I could see you wearing a pair of Jordan 1s specifically, or
Yeah.
I could see you even doing maybe a pair of 3s, or even maybe even a pair of 7s. But I could definitely see
The
you,
Miles
for example.
Morales. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Jordan 1s. You said 3s? What
Yeah.
do they look like?
I can see
You know
you
what's
wearing-
funny? I see those stores and like
Could not pull off. No, there's no way I could pull off
I think
3s.
you
That's a
could.
bigger boy. That's
I
a.
think you
I-
could,
you
honestly.
got to be 6'5" for that.
I
not
have a pair of those. I'm 5'4".
You're 5'4"? You always feel taller than I think you are.
Well, you know what's actually in regards to fashion, depending on whether it be
You like elongate yourself with.
you can make yourself look taller or shorter with certain things that you wear and how you wear it.
Interesting.
Where's the tall one? What's help me and Tay out here? Actually, help us all.
Short kings.
This is a very short podcast.
Short kings are coming up lately.
Yeah, we are.
Shirkins, you can suck a titty standing up. You know?
If I'm honest,
What'd you
if I'm
say?
honest, this is pretty wild, but like I've actually have low key wanted to date a guy that was like so tall.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Cut that out. Cut that out.
Garrett
He's
Joyce.
losing up. Damn.
Just saying.
You're pretty natural of doing a podcast. Dude.
Yeah, you
I was
are.
never this natural when I did my first podcast.
No, I was cleaning out the
That's a fucking hilarious bit,
Never mind,
by
go
the way.
Tangela.
What'd you say?
Anyway. So say a fat slob like me come to you and they're like, I need to figure out what to do with myself. Because I'm thinking of like maybe someone's listening to this podcast and maybe they do want to elevate. And they have no idea where to start.
Mm-hmm.
Where's a good place to start, and then where can they go, and then who can they like see? Like where would you send somebody? Would you send them like kind of like to Pinterest first, or would you kind of like just tell them to go to the store and then just kind of see or look up some type of trends?
I think it would be ideal to maybe just to start online, since most people are already online already,
Yeah.
to maybe kind of look at whether it be on TikTok or Instagram.
It's like getting a haircut. You want to get like references.
Yes, like trying to get like ideas from people who are actually doing it, actually out there wearing it and whatnot before they physically go to a store, because that could be overwhelming, especially depending on the store you're going to, how big the store is,
And
how the store is laid out.
if you're autistic and a fat kid,
Yeah,
you're
that
gonna
could be-
leave the store crying.
Yeah.
Because that honestly
That
could be a
sucks,
lot.
too,
Yeah, no, it's rough.
Because a lot of these department stores, or just even stores in general, I guess depending on how big the store is or how things are laid out, could be extremely overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it could be like seeing all these different clothes and different colors and sizes, and you're like, I don't know, like, where the hell do I begin? So
Yeah.
like,
And also, like, I do genuinely feel like it is an extreme act of vulnerability. Like, I had a really bad experience with like some clothing person at a shop one day where they felt judgy because I asked them for help and they were like kind of annoyed by the interaction, and like that can make or break
yes,
like an interaction for you.
Oh,
That can
yes.
make or break an experience.
yes,
I think clothing in particular it's a very hard experience for a lot of people.
Because
And
it's super vulnerable, and then you ask the person for help, and you're letting it's such an intimate thing for them
Yes.
to help you figure out an outfit and like what to
Yes.
wear.
And that's kind of what I love about my position now, which I've been doing for, it's been over a year now, but I like that one-on-one, hands-on connection. I think one thing I've learned about or I guess I've been like reminded about myself with this position is like, that I enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
And I just happen to enjoy doing it through fashion. But, there are people who come in that like, they maybe aren't as confident or maybe not really sure like what direction to go into. So like we kind of just grab different things, like, take a look around, see what grabs your attention, what you like, what you're into, like what you naturally gravitate towards. Let's try that on, see how it looks. How does it feel? Does it feel too small? Does it feel too big? Whatever, that case. Or also like, does it feel comfortable? With fashion, I feel like, sometimes, I guess depending on your mood, how you're physically feeling in general, you just want to be comfortable, relaxed, chill, laid back. Or sometimes you put things on that like, might be a little tight or like be a little restricting, but you look good.
Yeah.
And you're going to sacrifice that feeling for like
Beauty's
look-
pain.
Looking
Yeah,
dramatic,
exactly. Sometimes you don't want it to be like dramatically painful, like
Yeah.
excruciating.
For somebody
Well,
not comfortable with, basically.
but I guess depending on the occasion or where you're going, what you're doing, like you definitely kind of want to put it together. Hell, if I'm being honest, these jeans, which are actually women's jeans for my job.
Really? I didn't realize.
Yeah, these are actually women's jeans, but they.
It's almost as if gender doesn't matter.
Well, it's
Maybe
well, a
you're
lot of
right.
stuff. They're making a lot of stuff now that's unisex.
yeah.
Yes.
a lot of stuff's unisex.
But these jeans, I guess I could have gotten like a different size than what I did. So like sitting down, I don't usually have like the button fat. So I'm like sitting here now, like
Yeah.
because like I could button these jeans, but it's not like, as comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
But like these jeans look good. I actually got these jeans because of the bagginess and wideness of them, because I wanted something a little bit more wider, kind of like more relaxed and comfortable.
They look great.
I think you'd be a great
personal stylist.
well, yeah, but for film, like a great dresser for film.
I've actually would love that.
Yeah, I think you kill it.
It's actually a
We call that like a costume designer. or
Set
something?
dresser. No,
Yeah.
not set dresser. A costume designer.
yeah. There's actually a friend of mine. He I don't know if either of you have heard about it, but there's this film. I think it just came out last month, but apparently it was filmed here in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine, he was actually working on the
Talking about Oppenheimer or something.
No.
No, I feel like
he was working on the wardrobe team for the film, and I remember him doing it, last summer. But like I didn't know like what the film was, of course. But I think the name of the movie, something, the girl and her monster, some movie.
I've
Shin Godzilla?
vaguely.
Godzilla versus Kong.
It just came out like last month.
I vaguely know the name of that
We'll
because
put a link down below.
Yeah,
we'll find it.
The trailer actually looked pretty good, and I was like, he worked on
I know
that
it-
movie. I'm like, holy shit.
I know a couple of like
big
theater
movie.
costume designers and like I think in theater they're called like dress masters. I think is the title in theater.
Theater could be different from like actual
Yeah,
film
yeah.
and TV.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
but I know a person that works for theater, and I know like a person that she also like moonlights in film from doing the same thing. Such a fascinating fucking job to like dress people up and like particularly where to hide microphones and clothing. That's a fun one.
That's the whole thing.
You know what's really funny is like I actually found the actual clothing for my cosplay, my King cosplay. I actually found what they used in the movie, the actual shirt, which is really funny. I was like, oh, this is where the costume is bought from.
There's a whole, and this is a weird tangent, but like in cosplay, like people that specifically recreate like Marvel costumes, like a lot of their outsourcing is finding a hyper specific piece of clothing that they then have to modify or like alter in some way to like fit. Because costume designers, all they do is like they source like specific shoes or boots or pants or whatever, and then they just modify them to make like a whole piece. A lot of it is not like custom made tailor. Yeah, especially if you're working with like a more limited budget.
I think there's a place in Hollywood that actually has all that stuff. Like when costume designers get rid of that stuff, they thrift it to the store, and there's like a store where you can go buy old costume from TV sets. So.
Yeah.
I never realized how ignorant I am to fashion.
Me neither. Like it's
talking to it's an entire world out there that I just I just said earlier. I buy clothes without really thinking about it hard enough. If that makes sense. Like, I want to go out literally now, like just observe people what they're wearing.
I know, I try to like actively because I used to only wear like one solid color, one pair of shoes, and stuff like that. Now I'm actively always trying to find a color that fits my body proper. Like I used to never wear yellow, hated yellow, couldn't say hey, don't like red, all that stuff. And now I kind of go out of my comfort zone to find shades of that color.
I feel that. I've noticed that.
Yeah, a few months ago, you mentioned how you needed someone to help you. I was at Express. I was going to buy like just a pink dress shirt and wear like a black tie or something.
Oh, yeah. That shit looks good.
Pink.
Is that your opinion? I don't know.
Pink and black? Take and pull it off, right?
I don't know.
Very
like
early,
like a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah. Well, I'll usually roll my dress shirts up. So
honestly, that's given kind of like I don't know what you were about to say, but I'm thinking like the Panic at the Disco, that era.
I was thinking like prom 200007 type vibe. Yeah.
What is it? Diary of a Kid.
Diary of a Kid. Yeah.
No. Like, but I asked the guy, I was like, I literally asked him like, do you think pink girls look good or whatever? He was like.
He didn't care. He
probably didn't give a shit, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know for me, I definitely, especially when people come into my job and I'm, like they're maybe.
You work at a very custom place though. Like
it's not actually as custom. It's more like a traditional brand.
Are you comfortable saying the name of the place just so that people know?
Can I say it?
Yeah, I mean you can shout out.
It's a Charlotte podcast.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, actually, so the brand is Madewell. So Madewell is actually
Madewell got money.
Right.
Pays for that. We'll bleep it out if we have to, but pay up.
So Madewell's, they're actually based in New York.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, our parent company is actually J. Crew. So of course, J. Crew is more of like the business professional, more of like a classic, clean aesthetic.
Yeah.
Versus Madewell is more like comfortable, I guess more comfortable, laid back, chill. Like I could easily see you coming into my job, and if you just wanted to get t-shirts and jeans, like we would have that for you.
Can you give us some terminology for people that just don't know anything? Like what is? Can you define like the different subsection of faction? Like
so
maybe
I can give you guys 15 more minutes.
15. Okay, so like, man, this is a good podcast. I got a lot of questions for you. Casual, business, stuff like that. Can you? Because I'm trying to help someone that has no idea. Like I'm thinking of myself back then, and even now that I'm still trying to like.
I'm still trying to discover what I'm trying to.
Terminology and then where to start and then how to pick colors and all that stuff.
Colors. I mean, I think you definitely want to be aware of you, like who you are, where you are in life, where you're like actually going like on a regular basis. You always want to, in a sense, look or dress the part.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if someone out there was to, get a big boy job or like some fancy professional corporate job, you definitely want to dress the part.
Yeah.
If you're working at a bar or a restaurant, you definitely want to dress the part. You definitely want to be mindful of like the environment or the setting that you're going to be wearing these clothes.
Let's say it's like something casual. Like they're just going to out to dinner with some friends. But it's nothing. It's nice, but not like suit tie nice. What's that?
Trying to help somebody on the podcast.
I'm trying to like. Well, this is like it is slightly for me, but I'm just saying like I'm trying to break it down to get someone out of jeans, jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah. So for example, if it was more of like a Friday night, going on a date, the place is more casual, more laid back.
Yeah, okay.
So for example, what you're wearing now would be fine. The only thing I might change to make it even more relaxed would be maybe jeans over these pants. you could easily throw on a pair of like dark jeans, this shirt, nice pair of shoes, and you're good to go.
Looking nice and nice.
Or like what about like a solid black non-graphic t-shirt or something like that, or like
what Tay's wearing? Or
like what about like the sense of like a solid black t-shirt, you tuck it into your black jeans, and then we wear like a fashionable belt or something like that.
Oh, you seen a picture of that?
Yeah, like something like very like
You're almost describing that picture of Dwayne The Rock Johnson with the fanny pack.
okay, then we're gonna throw
so that outfit's perfect.
That's a great outfit.
That's a good outfit.
And that's a classic outfit.
Yeah.
Like
Stand
I could
like this.
easily wear that this fall. Turtleneck jeans, like a baggier, wider jean, cool pair of boots, throw on my coat, good to go.
yeah.
Damn. Hell yeah.
But like to what you're saying, you could easily throw on like a black plain t-shirt, nice pair of jeans. What would make the difference of like, you know, something more casual, something more dress up could be like if you wanted to layer it. So if you wanted to do like, throw on a shirt like this over, that's more probably
Like a button up or
yeah,
something
like that's like
that.
more casual. Or like if you doing like a blazer, that kind of takes
I
it to-
brought a blazer
Yes.
a while back.
so that takes it to like the next level.
Yeah.
Like I've easily have gone. Matter of fact, to work, I'll wear like which matter of fact I'm wearing that to work next week. But you know, I still pick out my outfits ahead of time. Which I
Yeah.
think I did
Of course you do.
before.
You gotta lay it out.
That's insane to me. Though. That's
The first day,
good,
that
though.
first day back to school, like you got your whole outfit laid
Laid on
out.
the bed, iron your clothes before you go to
So matter of fact, it actually was in high school where I started to kind of pick out my outfits ahead of time, like the whole week in advance.
I love that.
And for me, it kind of helped with like just being like I guess being able to plan ahead and like not like oh shit, what am I wearing today? Like I'm already
My priorities are different. Mine's like, what I'm eating tomorrow.
right.
What's for dinner tonight?
But I remember doing that all through high school. In college, I kind of slacked off a little bit with it, to be honest.
I mean,
You know,
you're
like
getting up
I-
early, you're up late at night, baking cookies at 3 a.m., you know, having arguments about aliens in the living room,
Playing
you know,
Tetris.
this shit that we used to do in the
Yelling at my roommate for playing on his computer at
Fucking
11 o'clock at
keyboard.
night on his hunched over
I'm
his
so
fancy,
sorry.
his
What are
fancy
you playing?
computer chair.
Ghost, what is that? Ghost Recon. What's that?
It was Ghost
that game Ark.
the dinosaur game.
The real life, I used to call it the real life game. I was like,
That
or-
big ass TV he had in there.
monitoring everything.
That fucking keyboard is so goddamn loud, and Gary was trying to sleep and he hears.
Do you remember that one time, like I think you were streaming or like you were playing with others on like the game, like something froze, and you were like, "It's not working." I was like, "Fuck yes!" I was like, "Go to fucking sleep." But no,
Oh, that's so
but I
lucky.
remember, you know, in college, I kind of slacked off a little bit with it. But like with my job now, I actually plan on my outfits ahead of time,
Yeah.
just because like for me, it helps to kind of like, you know, to know like what I've already worn
Mhm.
and kind of like what I want to wear next. I have this thing where I like to kind of switch it up,
Mhm.
kind of give like a different look each time. I know for me, which is I guess could be weird or whatever, but I like to. I don't like to wear the same color like 2 days in a row.
Interesting.
So like today I'm wearing brown, white, black. Tomorrow I'm wearing like a white shirt, black jeans. So it kind of all just depends on my own personal.
Wow.
I was asking how much time.
Oh, we got 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we gotta come up with a signal so that he can ask
Signal?
me like what
Well, I didn't know like how long you wanted to go. I
Yeah.
should have just
1:30.
figured it. 1:30.
1:30.
Okay.
Okay. But that's just me. That's not like a rule. It's kind of like my own personal rule, so to speak. But there are key pieces that I feel like every, you know, man or woman should have in their closet that like can take a simple, clean look to like the next level, depending
Okay.
on the
So like
occasion.
so just to build up a base, right? Like so say now like I kind of want to take like just a wad full of cash and just build up a base. So like I have one shirt and one pair of pants that I can kind of mismatch, something like that.
Yes.
So if I wanted to start off like that, where like what would I do? Like pick out like one shirt, one pair of pants, or like how do I have a
Ideally,
color
you know, like
scheme?
ideally, you know, like there are people that have come into my job in the past and like they'll buy like 2 or 3, 4 pairs of pants, pairs of jeans, for example. And depending on what they're, you know, comfortable with or what they're looking for, they might do like, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 pair of
tops.
tops, like solid t-shirts, different colors, as like a base.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of layer and add things to that depending on the season, depending on what feels comfortable. Something like this, to be honest, is actually, I've been kind of doing it a lot more the past maybe 6-7 months. Like I guess especially like in that environment, like I guess at my job, based on the aesthetic of our brand, I oftentimes do wear like a t-shirt and jeans, myself. But even personally, I've been kind of like adding shirts like this into, whether I wear it open like this with something underneath or wearing it by itself.
Yeah.
So let's
Which-
say this button up. Like you could just mix and match that with most. That would be like
Yes.
a base layer. That would be like something you would like kind of go
So
out of your way to buy.
You would be building something a little bit modular. Like you have like a solid layer to start off with, and then you would accessorize and add other items to it.
Ideally, you definitely want to have like a nice base. I guess depending on the season or the occasion, you could either wear something like just by itself, or if you are going to be layering, like having these key pieces, or even if you're going out of your way to buy like like a lot of the fashion influencers or people who are like really invested into fashion, like they'll buy that key expensive piece that they could wear and or accessorize different ways, knowing that they're going to of course get their money's worth of it, despite like everything else might be thrifted or maybe like at like a lower cost. Like there are people who literally do either podcasts or TikToks, whatever kind of video, trying to find these expensive things but for less. That's like a whole
It's like a
market
side of the
itself.
industry,
Yeah.
That's so fascinating to me. The idea that, like, I work in an industry that is so tangentially related to the fashion industry, and I don't know a goddamn thing about the fashion
Yeah.
industry.
Well, like a lot of
how
stuff
it
you do is
operates.
like
It goes to everything though, like character design. What the
Yeah.
character wears, like is this a dark character? What the hell is that character's wearing? You're not gonna wear like fucking Adidas or some
Pinks
shit.
and-
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You probably wear a trench coat or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
So,
it's funny because like most of my knowledge from high fashion, unironically, comes from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
yeah.
Because Araki, it's an anime. I don't know if you've
Okay.
seen it.
Same with the
but-
guy that does Bleach too.
Yeah,
He-
that guy. What the fuck's his name? The guy that does Bleach. You know him?
Kubo, whatever.
Kubo.
Yeah,
Ita Kubo.
because he draws his characters like very fashionable.
Yeah,
like,
Well, he has a
I-
lot of like those collaborations where he draws them in like higher fashion, like stylistic.
Yeah,
stuff
he's into
that.
like streetwear a lot. Like Ita Kubo draws Ichigo in a lot of streetwear.
Oh, and like that's what I mean, like casual streetwear, breaking it up into like
Yeah.
those like terminologies.
It really depends on, I mean, when you look at it that way, especially if you want to mention streetwear, there's definitely like the different, I feel like that's more of like the aesthetic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me.
Like
I
there,
love that.
like
Yeah.
there are key pieces that you can buy that kind of like fall into that category. But it's like an overall aesthetic and look that you're putting together from head to toe.
That's what I want to get into.
This is
more.
like JoJo's, by the way. This is like he takes a lot of like styles from like their posing and everything from like
Those are
Gucci.
literally from Vogue covers. A lot of
Yeah.
those poses
Gotcha.
from like
okay.
the 1980s.
They did. Remember they
Okay,
did to
gotcha.
Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. They made her like a dress,
Fuck yeah,
like for Vogue, I think, or whatever.
that's
She was
awesome.
She was on a magazine.
Yeah, I do remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That shit was fucking rad. Yeah, so like a lot of my knowledge from high fashion comes from like pop culture references that are like in my vein, which is why I think it's the interlink is so funny because like you look at a kid that's into anime and into like Dragon Ball Z and into like all of this shit, and they don't realize like how much of those artists are borrowing from the fashion industry to like dress those characters and design those characters and come up with like ways to pose them really aesthetically. Like Giorno Giovanni from JoJo is like literally all of his poses are taken from like a Vogue catalog from the 1980s, and like Araki did that so often. Like look
I mean,
at
look
this
at
man.
these fits are like insane.
No, you mentioned it though. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people that's in that interest, like anime, gaming, whatever, and they dress extremely casual.
Yeah,
I'm trying to escape that while keeping that.
keeping that alive,
personality.
but you know,
Yeah, that's
That's like to me,
like you look at me right now. You didn't know me. You wouldn't know I'm like a fucking Spider-Man, Superman fan or whatever, right? Or Godzilla, right?
no.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
fair.
I want
No.
to like,
you want to laugh and hidden. You know, you want
Yeah.
to like stay in the back.
yeah. So you get sick of
Laugh from
that.
shadow.
You used to get sick of that hot topic style clothing, or
Yeah.
me at least. It came with age. I'm like,
Yeah, which is fair because especially in regards to age, I feel like we see in different movies, TV shows, like that particular character who is a little bit older, but he's still a gamer and he's wearing these graphic T-shirts and
Yeah.
these jeans,
Like
and like
hasn't
he's sitting in
grown
a
up.
room, and like he's not considered grown up because his even based on what's going on or like what he's doing, his attire, his physical, wardrobe is giving that aesthetic, so to speak.
Yeah,
But Tay, to what you just said, it does kind of start with like those key pieces that like, maybe are stereotypical for certain, groups of people. But I think for you to what you're looking for, you definitely want comfort. And I can see that. And I think for a lot of, people out there who are into, anime or gaming, I feel like comfort is like the key word that you want to keep in mind. Like especially if they're sitting there gaming, they don't want to wear something tight, uncomfortable. Like they're trying to game,
Well, let's say they want to go out though, like they want to,
Get out.
but they want to look nice.
Yeah.
So
So
I would say like don't do like probably like a graphic tee.
Yes,
Try
I'm
to
saying,
do like a
stay away from that.
try to do like go out of your comfort zone other than black or white or something. Do
Yes.
like a white shirt and then like I think shades of colors is very important
Yes,
because
very
like
important.
I hated red for a long time, but it was like I like burgundy. That's just
Fair.
a shade
You
of
did.
red that I like, and I'm like burgundy looks
Burgundy
good.
bros.
There's burgundy bros. There's shades of yellow that look good on my skin, and I'm like, it's like just towards your skin color and all that stuff.
Yes,
right?
and I think a lot of people are more aware of it than they realize, or at least from what I've seen, a lot of people are aware of, based on their skin complexion or, based on their race or whatever, certain colors do look better on others based on dark, light, whatever the case is. So for you, for example, you would have to be aware of like which colors are going to wash you out. Like that's a whole thing. So for example, if you were to wear the color pink, I would probably give you something more of like a darker pink.
Yeah,
like
like a-
on this box, like this kind of darker pink and like the Dunkin' Donuts, logo versus something more.
Like I don't want it to blend into my pale skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even like with the color red, I could see why you would gravitate more towards burgundy versus like a bright, like the bright. My if you guys remember my bright.
You actually gave me a shirt, and I
My
wore it
RA
all
shirt.
the time. Yeah.
You gave me a dress shirt I wore too. What was it yours? The one with the dress shirt with the little dots on it.
I did.
I still have that
shit.
shirt.
You
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, he's like,
I look
remember
good
that.
in this.
That's a nice shirt.
Posted on Facebook years ago.
That's a nice shirt. Damn, God, I felt
It was
very
too
wrong.
small.
You giving a lot of us clothes, man.
That's fucking awesome.
No, but I was for a while now. I've been wearing brighter colors too. Like I recently brought this sky blue shirt, and I love this shirt. Or I remember wore this. I want to compare it to like peach color or pinkish, and I wore it, and some guy just stopped like, "That's a nice shirt." I got complimented from the shirt plenty of times.
I will say, Tay, for us being brown skin, we can kind of get away with like a lot of different colors.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Fuck yeah. Brown people supremacy, baby. Go fuck
I-
Man,
yourself.
what the?
But I do think, you definitely have to be aware of, like your skin complexion and being aware of different shades and tonality. If I'm honest, back when we were in school, which I think we all had to take this class, but my personal favorite class in school was actually color theory.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember being in that class, like my very first quarter, I had it first quarter, but with that class, I remember, I guess because was just getting into like the photography program, so like I wasn't like really deep into like the actual program yet. But I remember taking that class and thinking, oh, well, now I can actually coordinate and style my outfits.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, that literally I like had
Like a
Sparkle
switch in your head.
I kid you not, I took that and ran with it in regards to color and putting colors together. I feel like my style was kind of already there, like for that time in my life. But in regards to, putting colors together, that really, really helped a lot. Like being able to, the difference between warm versus cool. If you know me, I love
complementary colors versus
monochromatic.
contrasting colors.
Yes.
Like
You-
monochrome. Like you
Yes.
do do a lot of like monochromatic schemes.
Yeah, which is
That's what I
fun.
love, though.
Yeah. I love that shit. Like it's awesome. We gotta wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So
Garrett,
yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, I just want to say you have been such a lovely podcast.
Been
guest. Like,
fantastic.
this is a
I was gonna say the
genuinely
same thing.
awesome conversation.
Always-
You're
I
natural
love-
at it.
I love these podcasts because these are very informational.
Yeah. I felt like I walked out of here knowing a little bit more about fashion.
Yeah.
And
Than
like,
I ever did.
Yeah, you got me. Than I ever did. So I genuinely appreciate you joining us and talking
Yeah,
to
well,
us
thank you
about
guys.
this. This is
Thank
cool.
you for having me. It
Yeah.
actually was
We're gonna have to
pretty
bring you
cool.
back and get
Yes,
some more knowledge
absolutely.
out of
Because we could keep going like 10,
Yeah.
Good,
probably 2 more hours on this.
a good fall episode would be fantastic.
you. Yeah. Hell
That
yeah.
would be nice, actually.
During the season.
That would be nice.
Call this man Ranch because he be dressing.
So, fun fact: Jordan came up with that joke,
He didn't come up with
God,
it.
didn't
there's a
come up
history
with
behind that.
or he first said it to me back when we were in school, and I kid you not, I was just like, "What the fuck?"
He
Like,
said
it was one of those situations where I'm like, it
be
was
silent.
so good, it was so good, but I'm like, I can't give him that. That was like a good ass joke.
As most of you do.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Look at
damn
him
it,
for a minute.
Jordan.
Shake your hand and go on.
I just be saying the right thing, but they hate it coming out my mouth.
Where did these come from? What is that?
You're like,
Y'all can't stand to see me up. That's the problem. You
Now,
can't.
like, what makes you say that?
I don't know. My brain is
Crockett's brain works like the difference between me and Crockett's head. We're both constantly accumulating information and content,
Yeah.
but I keep it inside here.
Yeah.
you're more
Crockett just goes
informational.
there.
I'm
Yeah.
more like you
just
were like
grab
book
shit.
smart. I'm street smart type.
You know,
And, like,
street smart.
informational
See
grab.
that?
I'm grabbing a lot of stuff from like
TikTok, Twitter.
yeah. I pick up a lot of stuff from people. There's human beings in general.
People just like tell me facts, and I just like I remember that for the next 35 years.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
about
it's
you.
like-
I can see that about you.
That's a tism.
All right. Well,
what it
Garrett, do you
is.
have anything to plug for the show? Any you want to give any handles out, like Twitter handles, if people want to reach out and maybe like go to the store, maybe commission you or something like that, or photography.
I wouldn't follow me on Twitter. This might be Twitter's a.
Twitter's a
You
fucking
have a
nightmare.
Twitter?
It's
Do you-
No,
yeah.
just plugging in your thing. I put it down.
Do you- yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram, preferably.
Okay.
Jersey Dreamer.
Yes.
So how would you, if someone would reach out and they wanted to get fashion photographer from you or something like that in Charlotte based or something?
In Charlotte, if anything, I would probably reach out to my Instagram, which is at Jersey Dreamer.
And we'll put that link all below. down.
Twitter, I would. Twitter is very specific. That's I kind of go on Twitter to
Yeah.
You
yeah.
can say it.
I would say stuff more to like promote.
Demon
Like,
time.
Yeah,
just
shut
promote.
up, shut up, say.
You got Tumblr?
Guys, thank you so much for making it into the podcast. We do appreciate it. If you guys want to follow us on the Discord or you want to support the show, leave us a review on the audio versions and then leave us a like on YouTube and everything like that. We enjoyed you guys having come down. I hope you guys take some information from the show, and we'll see you next week for some more shenanigans and probably
follow Garrett.
unformatted. Yeah, please go
Yeah, go
support
follow
this man.
Garrett.
Go commission him, please.
He's
Support
been
him.
a lovely, lovely podcast guest. Super insightful.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Garrett,
guys.
for
Yeah,
joining
All
us.
right,
I appreciate it.
guys, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.